Hi, welcome to the IIIF Presentation API Day 3 tutorial. So what we're going to look at today is how to create a IIIF manifest. So if you can watch Mike's presentation here first, it'll give you kind of a theory about how the Presentation API works. And we're going to move on now to a practical look at how we're going to create a manifest using a tool called a Bodleian Manifest Editor. So we're going to be using this workshop, and we'll be on day 3, Wednesday. We'll be looking at the Presentation API section. Here you'll find the video from Mike, and also you'll find this video on this page. Next, we'll go to start with creating a manifest. So the first thing to do is to gather some info.jsons. So ideally, you'll use the info.jsons you created yesterday, either through the Internet Archive, all through your local Cantaloupe server, or through the workbench. If you haven't managed to get that far, then there are some examples, one here, one from Clocan, and also one from the Yale Centre of British Art. What I've done is I've kept account of the info.jsons I've got from the Internet Archive, and it does suggest in the details that you create 2 images. So I've got this one from the Internet Archive, and also this other one from the Internet Archive. I'm also going to use a level 0, which is what you do if you do in the workbench, just to show you how that looks, but that is purely optional. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow this on the left-hand side of the screen, and also open a new window so that I can access the Bodleian Manifest Editor. It suggests that you can use either an HTTP version or an HTTPS version. This is important, but all of the images that we've given to you on the course will be HTTPS, so you're welcome to use the Bodleian version. And I'm going to open this up in a new window and have them side by side, just so I can see the instructions at the same time as I'm doing the actions. You'll find all of the instructions on this page. The importance of HTTP over HTTPS is that generally we encouraged everybody to use HTTPS to make it as shareable and reusable as possible. Nowadays, many of the websites, and you can see both of these, are HTTPS. So the vast majority of websites are available as HTTPS. And what it means that if you try and load an image into an HTTPS website, then it won't be able to view the image if it's HTTP. So that's why we recommend to use HTTPS. And this problem is called mixed content, where some is available over HTTP and some is available over HTTPS. So let's get started. So the first thing we have to do is to create a new manifest. So on the Bodleian Manifest Editor, I can click the New Manifest button, which will start the interface to be able to create a manifest. Mike mentioned in the video about the importance of canvases, and these are kind of the blank slates where you paint on your particular image. So what we're going to do is we're going to click the Add Canvas button, and you'll see that this will continue to load until we've loaded an image, and also the image in the middle won't display until we've loaded an image. So we've got the empty canvas. I'm going to select it, and then going to scroll down until we can see the canvas metadata here. So again, we've got this revolving circle until we've added a canvas, but I'm going to click the Add Image to Canvas. Here I need to copy one of my info.json URLs. So I'm going to swap back to my document. I'm just going to copy the first one. And then I go back to the Bodleian Manifest Editor. I'm going to choose from info.json.uri, and then I'm going to paste in the image from the Internet Archive and click Submit. So this can take a few minutes to load, especially if you're using the Internet Archive image server. But when it's loaded, you should see the thumbnail at the bottom, thumbnail on the right, and the main image, which should be zoomable. So that looks like it's loaded okay. So I can jump down to step 3. So for step 3, we're going to edit some of the manifest metadata. So if I go back to the Bodleian Manifest Editor and click on the manifest metadata, it instructs me to change the label. So I'm just going to click into here and start typing. And then when I finished, I'll press return, and that will save the details. So now we want to add some more canvases. So it suggests adding 2, so I'll add another one by clicking the Add Canvas, selecting the empty canvas, and again going to the canvas metadata, selecting Add Image to Canvas, and I'll go back and get my second image. So I'm going to copy this again and paste it into here, and then click Submit. So now my manifest has got 2 canvases. I can also change the label of this particular page as canvas. So I'm going to call this one a tractor and press return to save that. And if I go back to the empty canvas, I can rename this Victoria. So now I've got a manifest with metadata and also 2 canvases. And I can move on to the 4th step now, which is to export this manifest. I'm also going to add a level 0 image just so you can see what it looks like. So again, I click the Add Canvas, I select the empty canvas, I go to Canvas Metadata and click Add Image to Canvas. So using the workbench, we created a special type of image called a level 0 image. And this has many use cases, but it does mean that you can't ask for a custom size. So when you do load this into the Bodleian manifest editor, what you'll see is the thumbnail will continue to load both here and here, but it'll show the main image. And the reason for that is that the Bodleian manifest editor is asking for a custom size thumbnail, which the level 0 image service doesn't support. And so unfortunately, it never returns, even though the image will work fine in a zooming interface. It's just the thumbnail that doesn't work. So I'm just going to edit this label as well. Okay, so now I've got a canvas with 3 different images, and I can move on to downloading the manifest. So as it instructs here, you click the Save Manifest button, and then you click Download. So I'm going to save the manifest and click Download. And what this is going to do is it's going to download it to my my browser kind of download location. And what it says now is that we should move it from this location to a workshop, a directory I'm going to create called IIIF Workshop, where I'm going to keep all of the different files that we create during the workshop into. So I've created a folder called IIIF Workshop in my home directory. It can be anywhere you like, as long as you can kind of find it again. And it's best if it doesn't have spaces in the file name. So here's my downloaded manifest. I'm just going to move it into this IIIF Workshop folder. Because I've done this 10 times, it's got a 10 in, so I'm just going to remove that. So it's called manifest.json. Advice is also to leave open this window. Although the Bodleian manifest editor does allow you to import a manifest, existing manifest, I've never seen it work particularly great. So it's best to leave this tab open until you're absolutely sure you've finished editing the manifest. But we've done the section using the Bodleian manifest editor, and we can move now on to the next one. So now we're going to have a look at trying to share our manifest and open it in a viewer like the Universal Viewer or Mirador, and then also look at kind of making some edits to the core structure of the manifest. And for that, we need a bit of software called the Visual Studio Code, which is a code editor. It seems to be the most popular one, and it has some nice features for editing JSON that we'll see. So there's a link here to the VS Code website, and if you go there, it will allow you to download it. It should show you the Windows version if you're using that, and also there's a Linux version. So if you install the VS Code editor, it should create an icon like this, and if you open up the VS Code editor, it should open this. So I'm just going to close the release notes. So here you have the kind of the welcome screen to the Visual Studio Code. And what we want to do first is to open the directory, your IIIF Workshop directory, so you can get access to all of your manifests. So I'm going to click Open, And then I'm going to select my IIIF workshop directory, and you can see the manifest.json is in there. So I'm going to make sure the directory is selected and click open. And what this has done now is it's opened up the Explorer toolbar here. And so I can close the welcome screen and I can click the manifest.json. And now we have access to the manifest, which was created by the Bodleian manifest editor. It's got some nice features on code editor. So it's got this kind of preview on the right-hand side. And also links different sections so you can see where things open and close. So if we go back to the instructions, so we set up the visual code editor. This is a bit about the Explorer, and you can close the get started. And then we've opened up our manifest. So we'll come back to this, but the next thing we want to do is to set up something called a web server, which will allow us to share access to the IIIF manifest. So we can open it up in a browser. So what we're going to do is we're going to click the extensions button on the left-hand side, which is this one here. And then we're going to search for something called live server. And when you search for this, I've already installed it, but you should see an install button if you haven't. And if you click the install button, it will install this live server application. And what this does is it provides a web server, which means you can share the manifest that you've got in that directory. And it will also add a go live button here, which you can click then to view items in your directory. So we've done that, and now we can go back to the Explorer. Now we've installed the extension, we can actually close this toolbar. Okay, so once you've installed that extension, you should have this Go Live button. So I'm going to click this, and it's going to start this web server. And it's also going to open up the directory on your browser. So in the directory, I've only got the one manifest.json. So I'm going to click that, and now we can see the manifest.json available on a web browser. And this is the manifest link that we can now use to open up in a IIIF viewer. So as I say, it's this link here. So if we open up the Universal Viewer website, and we can scroll down and we can paste our manifest into that box and click View. And we should now be able to view the manifest that we just created. So again, it might take a bit of time with the Internet Archive. And you can see we've got the manifest, the label that we changed. We've also got the 3 different images. You'll notice the third image, level 0, also doesn't display well in the Universal Viewer. But the image is there and they're zoomable. A bit slow again because we're using the Internet Archive, but we can navigate from one image to the next. And then also to the level 0 image. And we can zoom into the level 0 image as well. If we'd added metadata, we'd have seen it in this side. So at the moment, we've got the kind of default about editing description and attribution because we didn't change them. And we can change them in the next task. If we want to try this in Project Mirador, we can go to Project Mirador. Click Try a Live Demo. We can close the example objects. We can click Start Here, Add Resource, and then we can paste in our manifest. And if we go to the thumbnail panel in Mirador, the thumbnail should appear at the bottom. And Mirador does support a level 0 image, which means the thumbnail does work in Mirador, although it doesn't work in Universal Viewer. Okay, so we are now. Yep, so now we've opened up our manifest in various viewers. both Universal Viewer and also Mirador. And we can just have a quick look at the manifest. So you can either do this in the browser, or you can do this in the code editor. And just have a look at the different sections that Mike mentioned in his presentation. The way to tell which section you are on is to have a look at this type. So it says here, it's type manifest. So we know we're in the manifest portion of the manifest. And if we look down here, we know we're in the sequences. So a sequence is kind of list of pages. And then we can go further down, we can go to the canvases. So this is again of the canvas. And you can see we've got the first canvas here, which has a label Victoria. And then it has an image, which is the IIIF image from the Internet Archive. And that is painted onto the canvas. So you can have a quick look around the JSON of the manifest just to get to know your way around. But we'll now move on to the next stage, which is editing the manifest so you can see how it works in the kind of the JSON side. So the suggestion is to copy your manifest to and call it manifest 2, just to make sure you have a working manifest to go back to if you need to. So if we go back to the code editor and we click the Explorer tab, we can right click on this and click copy, and then we can click elsewhere in there and we can click paste. And it's created a copy of our manifest. We can then rename it. Manifest 2 it suggests. And what we'll do is we'll just close the first manifest.json so we don't edit that by accident. So now we've got the 2 manifests and we're opening manifest 2, and that's the one we're going to edit. So I'm going to leave some of these kind of for your own tasks, but we'll just do the first one so you can see what it looks like. I'll close Explorer again. So it's just here that we provide a short description. So you saw in the Universal Viewer at the moment, we've got click to edit description. So we're going to edit that to put a better description. The links in the training provide a link to the presentation API. So you can have a look, follow those links, and it'll tell you kind of more information about what a description should contain. And in this example, it's a long form prose description of the object. You may include simple HTML, but most commonly you just provide kind of a normal text in that. So I'm just going to click into the VS Code editor, and I'm going to change this description to this is a collection of photographs taken by Glenn. And then I'm going to save it. So you can either go to File Save, or you can do Command Save. And that should have edited my description. So if the server is still running, I can click on that, or I can go back to the website, and I should see now that I've got 2 manifests in there. If I click the second manifest 2.json, I should be able to look in here and see that the description has changed. So I can copy this, I can go back to the Universal Viewer, and I can change the manifest ID here. So you can see it says manifest 2. You can set IIIF manifest ID. And now if I open up the more information, I should see that this collection of photographs is taken. So the description has been updated. So make sure when you're looking at the Universal Viewer, you are looking at the right manifest, and you can usually see this at the bottom. The next thing it says, we might want to modify the attribution. So again, if I follow this link, I should be able to see details about attribution, and this is kind of the rights information. This text must be shown when a resource associated is displayed. So if we put this attribution here, and I change it to copyright Glenn Robson, but released as Creative Commons, Again, if I save it. So if I go back to the universal viewer and I copy the link to my second manifest, and I edit and put it into here and click view, I should now be able to see that the attribution has changed to copyright, Glenn Robson, but released as Creative Commons. And you can also see the attribution here on the side panel. Okay, so I've edited the description and attribution. I'll leave you to have a look at adding the viewing hint and also changing the license. You can see the metadata properties. So this one has a language of English, but you can add some more metadata which should appear in the side panel. The advice is that after each step, you reload the manifest in the universal viewer to confirm that the changes have appeared. If you see it's continuously loading, it's best to open it up in the browser and just refresh it to make sure that the JSON is valid. Also, if you're not sure about which level of something should be, particularly like the viewing hint, there is a sample manifest at the very bottom of the presentation specification, and you can see, so for example, the viewing hint is available in the sequence. So if you're ever confused about which level a particular item should be, you can look for the type, and it says sequence, and then you can see the example is in viewing hint, which is at the sequence level. So I'm just going to give a really quick introduction to JSON, and this is a format that the manifest is in. So JSON is a structured language related to HTML and XML and defines a method of separating structure that a computer is able to read. The priority there is the computer. It is possible to hand edit just as we've done, but you have to be very precise to make sure that the computer understands. So the basic structure of a JSON object looks like this. So in between these curly braces, we have different keys and values. So the key in this example would be name and the value would be Glenn. Another key is location and the value would be Aberystwyth. Each of the different key value pairs are separated by a comma apart from the last one. This is what I talk about, where you have to be very kind of stringent in where you put the commas, and also the brackets have to match. So if you open one there, it has to match there. Another type of structure in JSON is called a list, and this is an example of a list of a fruit, so apple, pear, orange. The list is separated by the square brackets, and everyone should have a comma again apart from the last one. So these can be nested together. So in this example, we have a statement opening with that and closing with that one, and then a person opening there and closing there, and then a key, name, Glenn, location, Aberystwyth, and then each is an array or list of apple, pear, and orange. And again, these brackets have all got to match. So the indentation is not necessary for the computer to be able to read it. It relies on the matching braces and commas and speech marks and things. But for a human, it's absolutely vital to work out when something opens and when something closes. If we look at VS Code, it does a really nice job of showing you where things open and close. That's what can be one of the most common kind of issues about if you've missed a bracket and you've closed it with a different bracket, trying to trace the error. So for example, if I was to delete this one, so it does highlight that there's an issue. It's got this red brace here to show that this one is missing, and it's reached this one, which is unexpected because it's expecting a different type of bracket. And also you've got this horizontal line here, vertical line here, which shows you where the brace should be missing. If you miss a comma, it'll also identify it. On the next line, it says it's reached here and it hasn't got a comma. So I think VS Code has got lots of functionality to make JSON editing a bit easier, but you just have to make sure that you match those braces and commas. Okay, so if you can have a go at adding the viewing hint, also the license, and also adding some metadata and see how you get on. If you get into problems, just send me an email. You can send me a copy of the manifest and we can have a look and see what's going on. Once you've done that, you can look at adding a table of contents. So this kind of sets up a very basic table of contents and is the reason that we asked you to add two different images, and a table of contents appears in the left-hand side, and then you can browse through the table of contents, which will take you to different canvases. So have a go at that, and again, let me know if you've got any problems. So the next stage is, once we've finished editing our manifest, we want to be able to publish it. So the web server involved in the VS Code is great for just kind of developing, testing, seeing how things look. But what we really want is we want to be able to publish our manifest. First, so that other people can access it. Secondly, to give it an HTTPS URL, so it's available in lots of different viewers. And finally, just to be able to share it and kind of publish and show the results of your work at the end of the week. So what we're going to use is something that we've developed for the training called the workbench. You may have come across this if you use the level 0 static images section in the previous task. But if not, don't worry. We'll be using the workbench now to kind of upload our manifest, which will then publish it so we can test it in other tools. So the first thing is to log on to the workbench. So I'm going to do this in Chrome, although you can do it in either browser. So if you go to the workbench, it'll ask you to log in. If you don't have a GitHub account, you can sign up for one here. It's free to use. So I'm going to click login, and then it's going to ask me to log in with my GitHub credentials. So I've done that. If it's the first time, it'll ask you if you want to approve it, the permission to use your GitHub account. And then you have a list of projects. If you don't have any projects, you'll have a create project button at the bottom. And I'm going to create a new project. So names can only contain letters, numbers, or the following symbols, so don't include any spaces. So I'm going to click create. And this will take a while, and in the background it's creating what's called a repository in GitHub to store all of your different materials. So in here we've got our, we could upload an image to create those level 0 images. But for this case, we're just looking at the manifest section. So I've got to the manifest section, and I'm going to upload the manifest I created. So I'm going to click upload. I'm going to choose the file, and I go to my IIIF workshop directory, and importantly, the manifest2.json, the one I've been editing, and then click open. And this is now going to upload the manifest to the workbench. So the upload is relatively quick, but it'll take a while for it to be published to the GitHub website so that we can open it in viewers. Just while that's loading, we can have a look at some of the features of the GitHub workbench that we've developed. So the first thing is we can click this icon. If I do this in a new tab, it'll take us straight through to GitHub. And so you can see in the background, it's created this presentation 2023 repository. And inside here, we've got different directories for annotations, collections, images, and manifests. If we go to our manifests directory, we can see we've uploaded our manifest2.json. And if we click here, this is the manifest that we uploaded. We can also click this symbol if we open up in a new tab. So this will take us straight into the editing interface of GitHub. Watch out, it doesn't have any kind of JSON tools, and so it doesn't stop you from creating a valid JSON. But if you want to make a really quick change, then you can edit it here. What you can also do is you can make the change in VS Code editor, and then you can select all, copy, and paste it into here. And then if you scroll down, you can click commit changes, and that will make a change. And that's probably a safer way to do it because VS Code has all of this nice JSON editing checking. But for now, I'm going to close that and close the preview. And this is going to generate for a few more minutes, and then hopefully it will provide us links to the Universal Viewer and Mirador. So I've given this a few minutes and it's still loading. So I'm just going to quickly press refresh. Oh, it's logged me out. Log back in. And I'm back on presentation 2023, and my manifest is now loaded. You can see there's this extra IIIF logo, so I could right click and do copy link address, which if I wanted to open it in a different viewer, but it's also provided me links to Mirador and Universal Viewer. So if I open up both of those new tabs, I should be able to see the manifest in Mirador, and it kind of directly takes you into Mirador. And again, if we show the thumbnails, you can see we've got the 3 different images and the level 0 image as well, and they all work. If we click the sidebar, we see the label here and also the description. And then if we go to the copyright rights, we see the attribution that we edited. If we go to the Universal Viewer, again, unfortunately, the level 0 thumbnail doesn't work. But if you click at it, you can view the image. And if we click the more information, we should be able to see our description and our attribution. So they're all the stages of creating a manifest. So the first thing that we started with, just to sum up, is we started with the body manifest editor to add our images and also to add some of the metadata. Then we downloaded it and saved it in our IIIF workbench directory. We then made a copy of it, so manifest2.json, so we still have the original from the Bodleian manifest editor. We then opened it in the code editor and we started editing it, and then we tested it using the live server Chrome extension, which is available at this location. We then opened it locally in the Universal Viewer until we were happy with all the changes. And then we went to the workbench and we clicked upload and we uploaded the manifest. And that's now given us these links to Mirador and the Universal Viewer. And these are links that we can share with colleagues, we can tweet about. They're kind of permanent public links, which you can then share. So have a go at the different sections. If you haven't already, have a try at adding structure. And if there's anything else you're interested in, have a look at the IIIF presentation API to see if it's available. And if not, if you've got any questions, feel free to give me a shout. Okay, thank you and good luck.